Hello everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to a brand new Wild Rift video, and in today's video we'll be taking a look at one half of the brand new champions that just came out to Wild Rift, Lucian the Purifier. As always, in this guide we'll be taking a look through the build, what runes you should be running, we'll take a look at gameplay, and we'll have a look at all the abilities as well. If you're enjoying this type of content on the XL channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel, you like the video, and comment down below what your first thoughts of Lucian are. And that's enough of me talking, that's not what you're really here for. Let's take an in-depth look at Lucian. Lucian is a ranged marksman that can be played in the duo lane, mid lane, or even the top lane into the right matchup. Lucian is a fast, aggressive champion, and with his high mobility, he is able to dash around the whole game to dodge skill shots and to kill the enemy team. Now moving on to the items, runes and spells, Lucian mainly benefits from three things: on hit effects, ability haste, and items that allow him to become more mobile. The first item being Blades of the Rune King, which gives him attack damage and attack speed, which is always helpful for a marksman. And it also gives physical vamp as well to keep yourself alive. And Blade Rune King has two really good passive effects as well. You have Ruined Strikes, which attacks deal bonus physical damage equal to a percentage of the enemy's current health on hit. And you also have the Drain effect as well, which hitting the champion with 3 attacks or abilities deal bonus magic damage and still 25% of their movement speed. Now moving on to Black Cleaver. Black Cleaver gives you maximum health, attack damage, and ability haste, which as mentioned is really helpful. And Black Cleaver has 2 really good passives as well, Sunderer and Rage. Sunderer, dealing physical damage to a champion, reduces their armor by a percentage for a few seconds, and stacking up to 5 times as well. And you can stack this really easy with all of Lucian's abilities and his auto attacks. And with Rage, dealing physical damage grants movement speed, and kills grant even more movement speed as well for a few seconds. Again, it's all about being mobile, having that ability haste so you can dash around and you can be mobile in them team fights. For boots, we've chosen Gluttonous Greaves. Gluttonous Greaves is really good because it gives you some extra physical vamp to keep yourself alive. You can also go for Lucidity boots as well, which gives you even more ability haste to allow your abilities to be on cooldown less. After your 2 core items, the Blade Rune King and the Black Cleaver, you want to head towards more damage and more crit. So we've gone for the Infinity Edge, which gives you a lot of attack damage and crit rate, and also your critical strikes deal even more damage as well. For the second crit item, we've gone for Static Shield, which in my opinion is the best option. It allows you to deal even more damage when you stack up them energized stacks, but you can also go for Rapid Fire Cannon or Phantom Dancer. Rapid Fire Cannon gives you more range, and Phantom Dancer allows you to have a shield. For the last item, we have Mortal Reminder, which gives you even more attack damage. You have the armor penetration, because at this point of the game, there's going to be loads of people that are building a lot of armor. And you also have Executioner's Calling, which physical damage applies grievous wounds, which will basically reduce the healing of the enemy team. Moving on to runes, we have Conqueror as the main rune. With Conqueror, you gain stacks of Adaptive Force when hitting a champion with separate attacks or abilities, and it stacks up to 5 times as well. Really easy to get stacks on Lucian with all his abilities and his auto attacks, and when it's fully stacked, you deal even more damage. The next rune, we have Hunter Vampirism. You gain physical vamp, and also unique champion takedowns grant you more AD and more physical vamp as well. So it's just a scaling rune that allows you to keep yourself alive and do a little bit of extra damage. Hunter Titan works very similar with Hunter Vampirism. You gain more stats every time you get a unique takedown, but Hunter Titan is more to do with the maximum health and the tenacity. For the last rune, we have Sweet Tooth. Now with Lucian, you will be playing very aggressive in lane, so if you do get low on health or mana, make sure you go back to the Honey Fruit, and Sweet Tooth will give you even more healing, and you also get some free gold as well, which is always beneficial. And lastly, for spells, we have Flash and we have Barrier. Barrier is by far the best choice in my opinion for Lucian. You gain a shield that absorbs damage, but just make sure you time this right, because this doesn't really last a long time. So make sure when the enemies are starting to come towards you and you feel like you're going to be taking a lot of damage, use the Barrier and it will block quite a lot of the damage. Moving on to Lucian's abilities, first off we have his passive, which is Light Slinger. After using an ability, Lucian's next attack within the next few seconds will fire 2 shots instead of 1. The second shot deals 60% physical damage and is increased to 100% against minions. And the second shot is a separate attack that applies on hit effects and can also critical strike. Now, it's a very simple passive, but it's also very important as well that every single time you use an ability that you try your best to get an auto attack in as well to deal even more damage. And as mentioned before, it also works really well with on hit effects like with Blade Rune King and with Black Cleaver, and can also critical strike, which is why Infinity Edge and Static Shiv is also very nice to have. So all it is when you use an ability, I'll use my first ability and then I auto attack. It used both the guns, and as you can see, it procs Blade Rune King straight away as well. So all you have to do is use one ability, auto attack once to get them 2 auto attacks off, and you can proc the Blade Rune King. But it works with all abilities as well. And you can use my second ability, it will double auto. Third ability, double auto, and also my ultimate, and I can also double auto attack afterwards as well. So again, very important to make sure that you double auto attack every time you use an ability. Next up, we have Piercing Light, which is Lucian's first ability. Shoots a bolt of piercing light through an enemy unit, damaging enemies in a line for physical damage. Now, the most important thing to note with this ability is it can go through minions and through champions as well. So it's really important to try and aim this during the laning phase, because even though it will hit the first minion, it will also try and hit minions behind and also champions behind as well. So you can make the best of both worlds. You can hit the minions and you can also hit the champions. I'll quickly show you how it works. So when using the ability, you can aim the ability, and as you can see here, it's going to hit the first target dummy, but it also hit the target dummy behind as well, because it's a light that goes through the first unit. So again, really important to use during team fights and during the laning phase. You can get a little bit of poke off on the enemy champions. Moving on to the second ability, we have Ardent Blaze. Lucian fires a shot that explodes at the end of its range on the first enemy hit, dealing a bit of magical damage, and it also briefly reveals enemies, marking them for a few seconds. This ability is very good when you're looking to maybe face check into a bush that you don't have vision on, and you're a little bit worried that a champion might be in there, so you can use that ability, and if an enemy is sitting in there, it will reveal them and mark them for a few seconds. And when Lucian or an allied champion damages a marked enemy, Lucian gains movement speed as well. Again, it's all about movement speed, being mobile with Lucian, and this ability helps out a lot with that as well. So with the ability, as you can see, it will explode on the first enemy hit, and it will also hit enemies around that area as well. And when I auto attack afterwards, it will give me a bunch of movement speed as well. This is if you attack or if an allied champion attacks that champion as well. Next up, we have Lucian's third ability, which is Relentless Pursuit. Lucian quickly dashes a short distance, nice and simple, but this is one of Lucian's main abilities because of the second part. The cooldown is reduced by 1 second whenever Lucian hits an enemy with Light Singer, 2 seconds for champions. Really important because your third ability works really well with your passive, and this is where the combos really come in. You can dash in a short distance and you can auto attack straight afterwards with your passive, and it will reduce the cooldown of your third ability. So all it happens is you can use your dash, auto attack, another ability, auto attack, and as you can see, my dash is already up and available. This is with the full build, so this includes the ability haste from the Black Cleaver as well. So it's really easy to use an ability, auto attack, use another ability, auto attack, and then you have your dash up again. Again, you can do this multiple times as well. So as you can see, you can dash 2, sometimes even 3 times during a whole combo as well. So it's really nice to be very mobile, to dash into enemies to get the kills, or to dash away to try and keep yourself alive. And lastly, we have Lucian's ultimate, which is the culling. Lucian fires rapidly in a direction for a few seconds, each shot dealing physical damage to the first enemy hit, dealing a total of a certain amount of physical damage. Now, there's a few extra things with the culling as well. You can also move whilst you're using the culling. Lucian can also use Relentless Pursuit, which is the third ability, the dash. You can recast to cancel the ability early, and it also deals extra damage to minions. Now, as you can see with your ultimate, you will be firing a lot, but as mentioned, you can also move and you can also dash as well with your ultimate. So just in case your ultimate is in the wrong direction, you could try and dash or move to try and hit an enemy. But you can also cancel the ability as well. Say the ultimate, the culling, is over the other side of where the champions are and someone has flash. You can cancel it because you'll still have your Light Slinger passive to be able to auto attack and deal that extra bit of damage. Moving on to the skill order for Lucian, it's really important to get your first ability first. This allows you to do a little poke damage in lane and also to hit minions a lot easier. And then when you hit level 2, you can get your third ability. This is where Lucian can really spike in laning phase. You can use your dash to go forward, use your passive to get a double hit off, and then also use your first ability as well to get even more passive damage off. Then at level 3, you want to go for your third ability, and then you want to level up your first ability first to make sure that is fully maxed out. Gives you some nice damage, gives you the cooldown reduction as well, which is really awesome. Then you want to go for your third ability. Again, your third ability is really important because it will reduce the cooldown. So this also helps with getting your combos off, so you can reduce the cooldown even more of your third ability. After you've maxed your first and your third ability, there's only one ability left to max, which is your second ability. But also, obviously, make sure to level up your ultimate when available, as this is your most important ability. And then you hit your maximum rank. With this, with your full item build as well, you'll be really, really strong to be able to move around, kill a lot of enemies, and keep yourself alive as well. Overall, Lucian is a very fun and safe champion to play with all his mobility. In playing Lucian, you are really strong early on with your passive and your abilities. This allows you to play aggressive to try and get an early advantage, so you can get the items quicker that you need, so you can scale well into the mid and the late game. As a marksman, it's important to know that you will be the highest damage output on your team. You need to make sure that you don't get caught alone and you stay grouped with your team as much as possible to help your team win the game. That's it for today's video and your in-depth look at Lucian. He's a really fun champion and actually a really strong champion at the moment as well. Be sure to keep your eye out on Senna, who's going to be coming very, very soon. And as always, make sure you subscribe, like the video and comment down below. And I'll see you all in the next video. Take care. Peace.